Hey everyone, Kyle here, collecting America's pastime. Hope you guys are having a great day. I have a pretty big mail day to cover, but and I'll get into that here in a second. Keep this video pretty short and sweet. But first, wanted to congratulate Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones on their induction into Cooperstown. Um, Beltran certainly seals the deal for Jose Altuve to get in eventually, and Andrew Jones means that it is beyond time to get Kenny Lofton into the Hall of Fame. To have Andrew Jones, but not Kenny as a Hall of Famer is utterly absurd. So, but congratulations to those two. I have cards of theirs, but nothing that I've picked up, and I plan on doing a class by class series at some point, so I'll showcase them when I get there. The pickups, let's get into them, as Jason would from Everyday Card Collector would say. Uh, from eBay, I had two come in this week. The first one is a 1940 play ball Lloyd Little Poison Wainer. Um, I I pretty much target any good deal on pre-war Hall of Famers or on Hall of Famers in general, and but some Hall of Famers I target specific cards, and the Wayner brothers are two of those guys that I target specific cards for to start. I really wanted the play balls because obviously Lloyd is Little Poison and Paul is Big Poison. 1940 play ball is a nickname set, and they use the nicknames on the front of the cards, which is just really cool to have together. So got Lloyd in. Still need Paul, but got a great deal on this Lloyd. So yeah, so that's the first eBay one. Second eBay one I bought a while back. It made a full trip around the country before arriving in Cleveland. It is a 1997 Canadian Hall of Fame Pat Gillick with the auto. The card is not graded, but the autograph is authenticated. So really cool piece. I have had one of these before. It was, I believe, PSA graded too, maybe raw. I think PSA graded, but it was not autographed. And so to get the autograph is pretty nice. I'm not a big autograph person, although spoiler alert, this one is one of two autographs involved with this video. I'm not a big autograph person, but when it makes sense, I'll do it. So, and in this case, it made sense. So another Hall of Famer done. And then the last batch of cards are from REA. So was it Sunday night that REA ended? Yeah, I think it was Sunday night. There was CIA and REA that night. I won stuff in both. The CIA stuff hasn't come in yet, but that'll be here later this week. So REA was the big one, anyways. I had a lot of fun with it. So I sold through REA years ago, and I have a really high opinion of them. My cards, I actually checked what they sold for recently, and man, it made me want to cry. Compared to what they are now, I thought I was selling at peak, and I don't recall what they were going for particularly back then, but I don't think I got exactly what I could have gotten out of them, but I certainly did not get what today's market would command for those, and so that hurt. But that's not REA's problem. I was lazy and in the mindset of just do it all at once, rip the Band-Aid off instead of trying to sell piece by piece, and death by 1,000 paper cuts, regret every single sale. So, anyways, I digress. I sold with them, have a really high opinion of them. The process was flawless. Their communication is great. And so I've never actually bought with them though. I think I've bid in there maybe once or twice, but I've always lost. This time I won. So the first lot I won was 16 1940 play balls. The two significant ones out of this are the Connie Mack and the Mickey Cochran. Connie Mack. This is another one that I target for him. I've had one of these before. His full name is Cornelius McGillicuddy, and on the back of the card it says Cornelius McGillicuddy, which I think is hilarious. What a name! And so I like this card of his. So many of his cards just refer to him as Connie Mack, and I like this one has his full name. So, but this one in the Cochrane I'm keeping. The rest, I'm sorry, I think there was 18 cards with those two. There were 16 commons, and the 16 commons I'm actually selling. So reach out to me if you are interested in some comments. I haven't posted on Net54 as well, and a few spots on Facebook. But if I get my prices on all of the comments, I'll actually profit on the whole lot by just selling the comments. I got a pretty good deal on the entire thing, while also being able to keep the Connie Mack and Mickey Cochrane. I also have some room on the cards to where I could sell them for less than my ask and break even on the entire lot, while also being able to keep the Connie Mack and Mickey Cochrane for free. So, I think I've already sold 5 of the cards so far for my ask. So I'm on a pretty good trajectory to keep those for free and even profit a little bit, which would be nice. So the next one, the rest of these are pretty low pop. So the next one's a 1923 WG7 Walter Mails game card for Walter Moranville, nicknamed Rabbit Moranville. The pop on this it's an SGC5. The pop on this is 13. There are 7 graded by SGC and 6 graded by PSA. I will be honest, I did forget to look up the Beckett, if Beckett grades any of these. Typically they don't, so that's why I've kind of forgotten to do that on all of these, but that's okay. Pop 13 between SGC and PSA, which is what matters. Pretty scarce set from what I could tell. It's the first time I think I've ever seen this set, which is really cool. It was brought to my attention. Ben was, I think you guys have seen Ben from Chasing Cardboard. He was also on Mike Moynihan's Baseball Collectors channel recently. He was talking about game cards, and what was he talking about? He was talking about the 1936 SNS game cards and how he's kind of liking the game card trend. So I actually sent the picture of this to Mike to send to Ben, to make sure it's on his radar, because you don't see them too often. And they're really cool cards. What's really cool is with a lot of game cards, the photo isn't necessarily the prominent part of the card. The actual game components of the card are. This one, there's a huge Walt Moranville photo, and it has the full description of what he is, position, team, etc. So it's a really cool card, really cool set. So if you like this kind of stuff, keep an eye out for it. The next one is a 1919 Reds postcard of Eddie Rausch. This one is, so the Walt Moranville I wanted pretty badly because of never seeing it and again the scarcity. The Eddie Rausch I wanted because of the scarcity and because of the significance of the card. It is from 1919. He is the only Hall of Famer on the 1919 World Series champion Reds, and the only reason the Reds won the World Series is because of the 1919 Black Sox scandal. So, and the cards from 1919 from that year. So this one I really wanted for the historical significance on top of the scarcity, and it is such a cool postcard. It's Pop 25. There's 13 graded by by PSA and 12 by SGC. By the way, I'm also getting these numbers from gemrate.com. It's the quickest way for me to kind of go through. So I hope the numbers are at least relatively accurate. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, so 13 by PSA, 12 by SGC, 25 total. Like I said, he's the only Hoff on the 1919 World Series Reds team. And I was just weighing everything, and went hard after this card because of I like the idea of the set with the historical significance, and because I really only collect Hall of Famers outside of Grover Hartley and Cleveland. This would be my only chance to snag a card from this set, so I was pretty excited about that. And yeah, just a really cool piece. I've been watching Eight Men Out a lot recently too. It's been my fall asleep at night movie, and I have gotten about halfway through it before falling asleep, and I got to watch it just all the way through here soon. I think it's leaving, is it Netflix or Amazon here soon? So, anyways, the last pickup is a big one. This is a 1926 Spalding Champions Joe Sewell. PSA 8 with and PSA DNA 8. It is an autographed copy. Both the card and the autograph got 8s. So shout out to John Mangini. I was watching him on a live chat last night, and he was having a conniption over the fact that there was another card that was autographed and got a PSA 10, and his argument was that once you autograph a card, you mark it. So how is it a PSA 10? Or if you use any sort of sharper writing utensil, then how is the card a 10 with the indentations and all that stuff, which is a very valid argument. Very valid argument. So I mean, if I autographed a 1926 Spalding Champions Joe Sewell, it would just come back authentic or marked or whatever, and it would degrade the card. So but I personally don't get too big into the weeds on that. I can understand the argument, and I just thought it was funny. So shout out to John. Anyways, this card is Pop 21. There are 17 graded by PSA, 4 by SGC, and it's, I believe, one of only 2 autographed copies. There was another sale of an autographed copy back in 2018. The autograph and the card were not graded. It was just authenticated for the autograph. So this is a pretty rare piece, and it's also a PSA 8, second highest graded. There's, I think, like 6 other PSA 8s, so it's not like it's an uncommon grade for the set, but there are lesser grades, and there's only a couple PSA 9s if I'm not mistaken. So second highest graded, and I love the Joey on the front. With Joe Sewell, you typically see Joe or Joseph on his cards. I think he has exhibits that have Joseph, and a lot of his other cards just say Joe. And to me, the photo with the Cleveland across the front of the jersey and the C on the hat, it is one of the coolest Joe Sewell photos in a Cleveland uniform. And being a Cleveland guy, this cover is pretty cool. Plus, shout out to my friend Joey. I've mentioned him before. He's the 24-year-old customer that collects pre-war at the card shop. He goes by Joey, and Joe Sewell is actually his favorite player. So when I was trying to win this, I was texting him, and there was at one point where I thought I was going to win it. It got down to like 10 or 20 seconds left before the auction ended, and then somebody threw another bid on it. And I had texted them just prior to that bid saying, wait for it, and it didn't hit. And then I had to reset the timer for him, and I showed it to him after I won it, and he was pretty hyped. So shout out to him, and I'm super glad I own this card. So anyways, that's it for the mail days. As you can see with those last 3, scarcity was a big theme, which leads me into an announcement of a series coming up. I'm doing a collaborative series with Aaron from Value Vintage Cards. It's going to be called The Road Less Traveled. Cards more scarce than the T206 Wagner. He and I have very similar collection taste. I don't love collecting stuff that I see every day. And to the average person, 54 Aarons and 52 Mantles and I know you don't see that stuff every day because those are the rookie cards, but like 56, I guess 56 is a better example, like 56 Jackies and stuff like that, or 33 Gaudies and T206s. Those are really cool, and to the average person, they won't see those every day. But I have a specialtism that where I dive deep into the weeds on this stuff, and it's all over my Instagram, it's all over my Facebook, because my Facebook and Instagram are strictly for cards. I don't really have a social media presence personally, and I see it a lot. Not a lot, but I see it enough with the card shopping, group chats, and all that stuff, and YouTube. So I like stuff that I don't see every day, or that you don't see every day, and I think Aaron has that same taste, and his collection is way more vast than mine. We are set to do this. The first episode is going to come out the first week of February, and we will release a new episode the first week every month. If we released it any sooner, or any more often, I would run out of cards before he would. His collection could go on for a very long time. The pop for the Wagner is around 60, so we're going to target stuff around 60 or less in population, and it's just going to be a really cool series. We're going to have guests on to showcase their stuff, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So stay tuned for that. It'll be my first ever collaborative series. And yeah, the road less traveled. It'll be fun. So, with that being said, let me update you on the progress for the Hall of Fame Cooperstown project. I am at 222 out of 354 Hall of Famers now. With the induction of Beltran and Jones, there's 2 more. So we're at 354 Hall of Famers in Cooperstown. 222 of those is good for 62.71%. I was at, I think, 85 or closing in on 90% in my previous attempt at this, and that was, obviously there were a few less Hall of Famers, but they're all modern guys that I had cards for. However, that number, as I've mentioned before, that number was kind of false because of the I was counting modern cards for guys that had pieces from playing days, but that were super difficult. And I'm shooting for the stars this time. I'm so sorry, shooting for the moon this time. And what they say: if you shoot for the moon, you land among the stars. So I was probably closer to about 80 to 85% max on that project. And I'm closing in on where I was previously, which is really, really cool. I didn't think I'd get there this quickly, and I'm having a blast. So obviously, I'm still missing some of the big names. I had Honus, Hannes, I should say. I had Babe Ruth. I had Cobb. I had all those guys, Mathewson, Wajo, Young, the entire gang. But I'll get there eventually. This is more about the journey, and last time it was a bit more of a sprint for me, and I'm enjoying the journey a bit more. So I think my kids are too. It was funny, and I'll end with this. I got the REA package in yesterday, and these the other cards that have come in, and my oldest daughter said something like, what are those? And I said, take a guess. She goes, baseball cards. I said, yes. So she knows, and it's awesome. I'm enjoying. She looks at them, and she said something else about it. She lectured me about buying cards, and it was really funny. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed seeing these cards. Again, looking forward to the new series, The Road Less Traveled, with Aaron from Value Vintage Cards, and stay tuned for a few more mail days coming up. But until then, live free, dream big.